This dice tower behind me wasn't just designed for your movie. It's always had a Jurassic design, and you are just the first Jurassic cast member to ever use it.
How dope is that?
If you could guest star on the TV show of your choice, what show would you pick and what role would you play?
I would guest star on What We Do in the Shadows, and I'll play somebody's nemesis. I mean, there was like a whole thread in the last season with like the werewolves that were like their antagonists, and the show is so funny. The show is so funny.
What is the most memorable rap gift you've ever received?
Oh, I've ever received. I give a good rap gift.
Or give. I'll let you turn that question around.
Given, because I love food and I believe in food, and I think food is the greatest gift that we can give to anyone and ourselves. For the show that I just wrapped on, my rap gift was a suite of food trucks the last week we were shooting. And nothing brings people on your side or makes them think you're a hero than food. So that's greatest given. Greatest received was Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, as a rap present for his productions, he has his photographer, whose name is also Kevin, funny enough, taking photos the entire time. You know, he's just taking photos. He's like capturing photos of all the crew members, and he gives you a yearbook, a beautifully bound yearbook at the end of the production. And that is the most brilliant, you know, like inclusive, we were all in this together, making this film together present that I've ever received.
I obsessively look at IMDb trivia pages and then all the random facts I learn about someone on them. Yours is very short, and it's basically just like a copy and paste of some Wikipedia facts. So if you could give me a super random fact about yourself to put on that page, what would it be?
Oh, a super random fact. When I was in the 10th grade, I was in Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, or JROTC, and I was not an athletic kid. So I remember specifically and deliberately pretending, this is before I was an actor, I was not an actor yet. I remember pretending to pass out after one lap around the track because I didn't feel like running the mile. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I just was not interested.
You are going to play my movie my way, and I am making it your Jurassic Park your way. This whole game, the whole concept will prove I've learned nothing from all these films.
Excellent.
So first, we're going to build a park. You need to pick a location. Where in the world is your park built?
All right, location. That's terrible, DeWanda. You shouldn't. My brain is horrible. Okay. Let's build it in Montana.
Okay. Your brain is not horrible. My answer to that would have been like, my family's backyard, so we can all be together with the dinosaurs. All right. So, of course, every park owner needs a right hand, a second in command. So of everyone in the Jurassic World Dominion ensemble, who do you bring aboard to be, like, I guess, your chief of operations?
Even begrudgingly, because he would hate this and it would never actually happen, but Alan Grant. I told you, this is 2 for 2 with Sam Neill and I, so we got to go for the third.
I mean, he would know how to manage the park responsibly, or as responsibly as one can, I get it.
Yes.
So now, on the other hand, of everyone in the Dominion ensemble, who I guess is your Ian Malcolm, the one who's there telling you, like, DeWanda, stop this. This is a terrible idea. Don't build this park.
Ramsey Cole, played by Mamadou. Both him and his character, yes.
You get the opportunity to ask Dr. Wu to make you the dinosaur hybrid of your choice. What type of dinosaur are you requesting?
I would combine, because I like really small creatures. I have a toy poodle. He's 8 pounds. I'm just like, nyeh. So I would combine a compy with maybe a Lystrosaurus or another like small herbivore dinosaur. I just want a pet. Let's get to what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to what pet would I want, and that is a really tiny dinosaur. I would like a tiny dinosaur.
I mean, as would I. I grew up on Prehysteria. I don't know if anyone in the world still remembers that movie, but it always made me want a dinosaur as a pet.
Yeah.
I'll throw in one last one because, of course, this has to end in disaster. One dinosaur breaks out of its paddock in your park and it ruins everything. Which dinosaur is it?
Dilophosaurus.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
The more Dilophosaurus, the better.
The better.
But I'm sure many would argue with that statement. I don't care. Hello, everyone. Perry Nemiroff back here with a brand new episode of Collider Ladies Night. And you all know I'm a massive Jurassic fan, so it is an utter joy to welcome DeWanda Wise to the show to talk about Jurassic World Dominion, but also a lot of other very cool titles that you're a part of. Hello and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Perry. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I know that when you go to school and then you get out there and you try to build a career, it could be really difficult and scary to leave that safe space, that really structured environment. So for you, what was the key to bridging the gap between studying at NYU and feeling like you have jump-started your career?
My freshman year, I remember going into, only a certain number of students got to actually do the showcase. After the end of 4 years, if you were an undergrad at Tisch, which is still the case, I'm sure. But I went into Lee Gundersheimer's office freshman year and I said, hi, I'm DeWanda. So I just want to know, what do I need to do to ensure that I'm in the showcase? And he was like, I'm sorry, what year are you in? What year are you in? So that's who I was when I was in school. I couldn't wait to get out of school. And while I was there, I was already kind of planting the seeds. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but Gina Rodriguez, we worked together on Someone Great. She was my first manager. We trained together at Atlantic Theater Company Acting School. She had an internship at Jocelyn Herman, which is a small management company in New York. And she signed me when I was a sophomore in college.
I knew you two were friends, but that's incredible.
No, we're friends.
We have to stop at She's Gotta Have It. So thinking about the NYU of it all, that show obviously came up years after you had graduated. So was that a situation where you had kept in touch with Spike and then took off from there? Or did he kind of just call you out of the blue?
No, it wasn't entirely out of the blue. I don't think Spike remembered me from NYU. When I graduated, he threw this, oh my goodness, you're bringing back all the memories. I'm so glad I have a good memory. Okay. When I graduated, he had this thing called, it was 20 for 20 cruise, right? And I remember working it. There were a number of us young, either filmmakers or actors or whatever. And, my job at the time, I remember what I was doing. I was following around Wesley Snipes and his family and taking care of his children and just making sure that they were safe and having a good time. That was my job on the 20 for 20 cruise. And I was also at the time always just auditioning for stuff. He still directs a lot of commercials. At the time, he was still doing some music video stuff. So I knew that entire camp, that 40-acre camp, for many years, Don't think he remembered any of that, but that's fair because he is Spike Lee. He's very famous and kind of an icon. So by the time I got to She's Gotta Have It, I was in the work of one of his former students called How to Tell Your Douchebag, and he saw that film. And the writers in the room of She's Gotta Have It were all accomplished playwrights in New York City, and they had seen me in a play. So it was this kind of perfect, convergence of follow your bliss, and me just following my heart and right place, right time.
Meant to be. I love it. Yeah. So now I kind of got to flip that around and get a little negative with that. Cause I always love covering bumps in the road on this show, just to highlight how we overcome them. So,
oh yeah, I got, which one, which bump?
When that show gets canceled, just what was it like for you managing personal disappointment that it had come to a close, but also what did you learn about the reality of what it means to be a part of the show and, the ins and outs of going through the renewal or cancellation process?
Well, I think you have to go flip back to 5 minutes ago where I told you that I was a quitter. So, so jobs ending, they don't make me sad. I had a castmate just a couple of weeks ago. I just finished this job, 3 Women, and Lola Kirk. She was like, "You're not sad? Why aren't you sad?" And I was like, "I leave it all on the floor. Perry, I leave it all on the floor." She's Gotta Have It. We had 2 amazing seasons. Season 1 was there was one moment where I just remember they were clapping for me mid-production because I worked 52 days. She's a true number 1, 52 days in a row. Being a lead on a TV show specifically requires an unfathomable degree of stamina and wellness and morale and leadership. So I did the first season, and then the second season, we filmed over 2 months in 3 different places, you know? And I felt both seasons a sense of story completion. Like if I had done, because Spike at the end of the day is a filmmaker, so he's used to a kind of more cohesive story. And for my part, for my money, there were no cliffhangers. It wasn't like one of those things where you're working on a show that the creators expected it to go 5 years or whatever, and it's like so dissatisfying because you're like, you knew what was going to happen in season 5. You know, we told 2 complete stories back to back, and I still have those lifelong friendships. You know, me and Margot are still like this. I just like shouted out Anthony Ramos yesterday. I'm so proud of him. Like, I cannot wait to see himself again up on the big screen in Transformers. You know, me and Cleo are homies. So, you know, I gained a lot from working on that show, both in terms of like relationships, skills, and obviously working with a legend.
I'm not moving into Jurassic as much as I want to go there right now until I touch on Someone Great, because I just want to make sure everybody out there knows about that movie, which is just an absolute delight of a romantic comedy. What is the key to, I guess, making a film so infectiously charming like that? Is it something that comes from the script and that foundation, or is there anything about the way that set was run that created that special kind of spark?
One, I'm going to answer a question you did not ask, but actually what happened was I couldn't do Captain Marvel. And the day after, I texted Gina and I said, I feel like there's a role for me in your movie. So that's also a part of it. You know, I would not have done Someone Great if I were in Captain Marvel. And the experience of working on that movie also changed my life. I have a lot of those. But it also changed my life because it really set the bar for what I wanted my on-set experience to be, because we were having as much fun as it looked like we were having making that movie, you know? And it was the first time that I had this experience where the final thing, like the finished product, it's not that I don't want to say I didn't care, but the process of working on it was so beautiful and so precious. It just gave me this feeling that was just like, well, I hope other people enjoy it because I do. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It was like this level of freedom. Everything was absolutely on the page. You know, it's Jen Caton Robinson. You know, if folks don't go back and watch Sweet Vicious, I don't know what to tell you. Like, please just go back and watch this. Again, another canceled too soon TV show, because I just think it's absolutely brilliant. So I already knew and loved and respected her voice. But much like Jurassic World, actually, obviously we had a lot of freedom. You know, it's comedy. You improvise. You have to. You have to.
What is it like for you when a role comes as an offer? Because it's a wonderful thing, but does a situation like that, I guess, you know, make you nervous about living up to expectations? Or is it a situation where there's great confidence?
It's a situation where you know you have to live up to a certain expectation, but also you have to exceed an expectation, right? So if you cast me in something and you saw something in another role and you're like, hey, come do that over here, then there's a little more friction, right? There's a little more push and pull of being like, I'm not giving you Nola again, though. I know you kind of think that's what you want, but trust me, I have something not better necessarily, but more right for this.
During our last chat, you were telling me a little bit about how you were channeling some Sarah Harding from the book and your interpretation of Kayla, but it was kind of making me wonder to, you know, flip it around and view something like that from the character perspective. So I don't know if you actually thought this through. It's just me obsessing over Jurassic details. Excellent. But she technically in that world has seen the fall of Jurassic Park and world and also the fallout from it. So which past characters' actions do you think have influenced who she's become and the decisions that she makes the most?
The arc of Claire Dearing, of moving from being the like vicious, like, you know, company woman, almost like very, very, very borderline villain that she starts, you know, as in Jurassic World, and making this delicious, full arc, you know, to where we see her in this film. But I think just in terms of the actions of that character and the ramifications, you know, and the thoughtlessness, you know, of what it means, you know, that's why when we meet Kayla, she's disillusioned. It's the same way that many of us human beings on planet Earth today feel, which is just like, well, I mean, if people in power, if they don't care, I mean, what can I do? you know? And so in that way, you know, as a character and as an arc, it's really inspiring because, you know, we have to believe that there is something we can do. We have to always believe that there is something, even if that something is like, you know, so small in the moment. We have to believe that our individual actions have ripple effects and ramifications for all of us.
I must let you go, DeWanda. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on Jurassic and everything else you accomplished. I can't wait to do this again. It's bound to happen for another movie or show in the future.
You're delightful. Thank you so much.